What truly sets top performing agents apart from those who are just barely staying afloat?
Discipline, consistency, and patience. I think there are only two types of people left in the world in any industry, especially real estate, right? They're going to be agents that use AI and agents that don't.
Real estate has undergone significant changes over the past year. How are you guiding your clients through these shifts right now?
Oh man, you're really going to open up Pandora's box now. CCQ, clear what you offer, concise and specific what they get, and it has to be quantifiable. Google just doesn't launch products without doing beta testing. Tesla doesn't launch products with exciting marketing to create a line of people. So why hasn't this gone into real estate?
Chirag Shah, welcome. You've had such a dynamic career in real estate, from agent to independent broker to director of coaching and training at Compass, and now the founder of Chirag Shah Coaching. Can you walk us through your journey and what inspired you to pivot into coaching?
Yeah, well, one, thank you for having me here today. And I think at the heart of who I am, it's a real estate agent. So when I got my license, I was 23 years old. I had no idea what I was doing. And, I always share with people, well, what does no idea really mean? Because they think everyone has it figured out. No one really does. So Aaron, I remember going to the first networking event I ever went through. I was 23. I had, black shoes, slacks, a coat, and I had white tube socks on because no one told me anything about dress socks. So people literally just laughed at me. So when I started, I didn't really know much of what I was doing. I was a financial consultant at the time, and I had met a gentleman at a gym who said he had a new construction development. I didn't go interview anyone. I was like, can you sponsor my license? And that's how I started. First open house I ever did, we did it together, naive 23-year-old kid. Okay, so one day you drive, the next day I drive. So he says, go to your dad's store, get the balloons, and you can pick me up at this time the next day. I get there. The broker I had at the time completely not ready. He's like, just take the signs out of my car. I'm like, hurry up, man, get ready. We're going to be late. He's like, no, you're going to go on your own. I'm like, well, what do you mean I'm going to go on my own? I'm like, what do I do? He's like, remember you put the balloons on the signs? I'm like, okay, I can do that. Point the arrows so they go to the house. I was like, oh, I can do that. I was like, well, what else do I do? He's like, well, get the people to sign in, show them the house, and if they don't buy the house, sell them another one. And that's how I started in real estate, right? So as my career went on, within the first 2 years, then I launched my own company and I hired a coach. And my credit card had $2,000 on it at the time. It was $1,000 a month for coaching. And if I didn't make money in 2 months, that would have been the end. So I started this journey of personal development. And, I always say that if you like helping people, for many of us, it's like helping a past version of ourselves. And so my passion has always been in helping people, right? Because I spent a lot of time and a lot of money going to a lot of trainings with empty workbooks where I was trying to listening to take notes, never taking it in. Sometimes they didn't go through what was promised on the program. And I kept finding myself at the same gap all the time. Like, I don't want to know what to do because I already know what not to do. I want to know how to do it, right? So, in 2018, when Compass had acquired my brokerage, I said, I can come work there, but I want to do coaching and training. So they created this director of coaching and training role. And that's where it started. I was speaking on NAR segments, even in the coaching communities I was training coaches on technology. If anyone wants to laugh, literally go type in Chirag Shah Realtor. And you can look at my bad whiteboard YouTube videos of me talking about just things that I was passionate about 14 years ago.
I love that. Awesome story. So at this point, you've coached over 30,000 agents across 38 states in just 4 years, which is absolutely incredible. How would you summarize your coaching philosophy?
It's not what to do, it's how to do it, right? So it's, you go to a coaching session. Every agent, I think, really wants to know, what do I say? What do I send? What do I do next? And really, how do I grow my business today, right? So my fundamental philosophy just as a person is people should build businesses that fit into their life, right? Too many agents try to plan their life around their business. And, I always say the dream as an agent is I want to get in this business because there's freedom, flexibility, and limitless income. That dream becomes a nightmare really quickly. I can't tell you how many people you see that are on the phone at their kids' soccer games, that time that they drop their kids and pick them up off to school, the phone rings, they have to answer it. And it's like, look, when you have businesses that work on systems and processes and strategy and structure, your clients don't want to call you all the time. No high-end luxury service is available 24 hours a day or 7 days a week that's any kind of commodity and is not charging an absorbent amount of money.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. We'll definitely dive into a lot of those systems and processes. But I'm really curious to know, after coaching 30,000 agents, what do you think truly sets top performing agents apart from those who are just barely staying afloat?
Three things: discipline, consistency, and patience, right? And the other side of that, these are human characteristics, right? So I would say discipline is doing what you said you're going to do, consistency is doing it regardless of how you feel, and patience is knowing when you do one and two over time that you're going to win bigger than your goals, right? And then, one of the questions that we get asked all the time is, Aaron, how do I know if coaching is going to work for me? I was like, if you can do three things, this works for anybody. Like, you don't need any kind of special talent in life to be successful in this business. If you can listen, follow directions, and follow through, you can win.
Love that. So you exclusively work with Compass agents?
Yep. By choice, right? So people always ask me, do I have a contract? Do I have anything? No, it's just, look, I work there. I'm a loyal person, right? And I've worked there for 6.5 years at this point. I don't believe in my heart that any brokerage offers a homeowner more resources and tools and can create a better outcome than Compass can. So it's very hard for me to align around a different philosophy, especially when I believe and I could teach anybody in, I would say, 3.5 minutes or less why you would have a either less experience or leave money on the table by not using a Compass agent.
Yeah, I think technology and tools are evidently a differentiator. And I know that's a big part of your coaching. For those not affiliated with Compass, if you had to recommend two or three kind of must have tools or platforms that any agent can and probably should be leveraging today, what would those be?
Well, everyone needs to have a CRM. Like that's the one thing that everyone needs. But I also think CRM, I'll share something that's really interesting. If you offered me $10 million, $10 million, right? That's a lot of money, right? To create like a 12-week program on using CRMs, I'd have to decline because I don't know how people can talk about something so long, right? Yes, there are, if you get into funnels and emails and lead magnets, that's a whole different thing, right? But for everyone that's watching this, regardless of what brokerage it is, I believe everyone has the right to have a great life, a great business, and a great bank account, right? I call it BLB, Business Life Bank Account. So your CRM is the only tangible asset you have of value. It's the only thing that people will eventually buy from you if you ever want to sell your business. So can I break it down for everybody that they have something that they can do in like 3.5 minutes?
Please, please.
So think about it like this. Now I'm starting at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. So let's see how long this takes. So look, think of your CRM like a closet, right? So you have groups and then you have tags, right? Groups are like clothing types. Like you can have pants, you can have shirts, and then within pants, you can have jeans, you can have dress pants, you can have slacks, right? So if it's women, you have dresses, they have different types of dresses. Shirts, you can have t-shirts, collared shirts, long sleeve shirts, polo shirts, workout shirts. And that's what tags are, right? So groups are like the clothing kind. Tags are like the sub breakdown of it. And then when you get into those tags, right? So you can look at a buyer, for example, but I would say the sole purpose of data is being able to make future decisions off of it. So the sole purpose of tags is like, how do I group and identify people so I can be of value to them? Right. So if I look at a buyer, after they've closed, right, they live in a particular neighborhood. They might be an empty nester. They might just be a married couple. Kids under 10 is a great tag. And based on that and the use of AI, you can actually go on to ChatGPT Operator and have it literally search for you every week. What are the best activities in the defined area for kids under 10? And then write an email based on this framework, and it'll literally give it to you, right? So, if I'm looking at this, I'm bucketing these people in categories. I'm using a bulk email tool to be able to reach out to them so they look at one-on-one outreach. And I'm talking about the things that are important to them, not the things that I want to talk about, right? So I think a lot of times these newsletters that people send, like, look, I bought a house. I don't care about your open house. I don't care about just listed. And the worst email to send is price reduction, because you're literally like marketing that you did your job wrong the first time. So that's less than 2 minutes, but I think that pretty much summarizes the CRM.
Yeah, you nailed it. You touched on AI, which is obviously a hot topic right now, and you gave a very great example of its use in agents. But I'd love to hear how else you see AI transforming the way agents operate, now and in the near future.
Oh, now we're really going to go down a rabbit hole. So, look, I think there are only two types of people left in the world in any industry, especially real estate, right? They're going to be agents that use AI and agents that don't, right? So, when I think about AI, the worst question I get asked all the time is, should I invest in the $20 chat GPT version? And my answer to them is another question. Great question. Would you go out to lunch right now and spend $20 on a grilled chicken salad? If the answer is yes, then like, I don't know what the challenge is here, right? So one of the biggest fundamental challenges in this industry is everyone sits and waits and they don't make the investments and they spend the time and money somewhere else, right? So having AI is like having a employee for $20 a month that is approximately 150 IQ in every different job field in the world. Like ChatGPT could be an attorney, a doctor, a dog walker, and a child psychologist all in one prompt. So when you think about that, how do you compete with that at scale, right? Then you get into this whole world of AI agents and agentic AI, where AI is just more thoughtful, it's more accurate. So you want me to share a really interesting study that I heard the other day? So the study was done at Procter and Gamble and Harvard, right? So they had three teams of people. So the first team of people, or the first group, it was an individual an individual and ChatGPT. The second was an actual full work group of intelligent people. And the third work group was an intelligent group of people with ChatGPT. Obviously, the third work group had the best results out of everybody. What was interesting in terms of output, the individual with ChatGPT had the same output as an entire group. And so if you look at this, you can start putting out work at such a rapid pace. Things that would take you hours can now be done in seconds, right? And if you look at recently, ChatGPT just came out with a new image model that they have rolling out selectively. And I could say, I could upload Aaron's picture and I could say, I want to be on the 90th floor of the Empire State Building looking out with this quote written on the glass. It's done. So you're looking at speed, you're looking at efficiency. In real estate, I think that marketing copy for listings is really bad, right? So if you see things like, let me think about this. Stately colonial located on tree line street. Like you see people write stuff like that. It might as well say old home with bugs, right? Lots of trees, lots of bugs, stately colonial. Like people don't think about it, right? When people think about houses and I'm a buyer, there's probably 2 to 4 things I want in the house, and they're generally tied to the specific type of experiences, right? So there's a whole new world of marketing that can be created leveraging AI that people, quite frankly, even if you hire marketing agencies, it just takes too much time.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen any really creative or interesting examples from some of the agents that you've coached?
Yeah, I could open up my screen right now and I could take any property and show you how to write a compelling story that engages somebody in like literally 90 seconds.
No, it's really that easy. And we feel the same way about AI. It's clearly non-negotiable at this point. In terms of investing in yourself, investing in AI, I'd love to hear your take on investing in your personal brand. Do you see the value of dedicating, time to building a digital presence and creating social media content to enhance your brand as an agent?
Well, we also have like a content studio here, right? So we have a full production studio, a stage, a video wall, capabilities to live stream on multiple platforms. So yes, we believe in it. We have our own content plan that we're coming out with. Look, I always say that the new resume, like people might go to your LinkedIn to see your professional setting, but your 9 picture grid is who you are. And I'll share a story with you is several and a half years ago, I was going through a divorce in my life and I had to move, right? And the thing that people don't realize about me is I love negotiating. I love the art of the deal. But as a client, if I find something I want, I just want to pay the full price because it's my home. It's where I live. I don't really care about anything else. I just want it. And so I had got to this house where I was competing with a relocation person, right? So obviously like their terms are better, like payments guaranteed, right? So all kinds of different things. And you know why the landlord and the owner chose me? My Instagram profile. That was it. That was the deciding factor. She said that, I quote, I love who you are as a person and what you stand for. So the values that you have seem in perfect alignment with what would make us feel comfortable. Right? So someone will go to your LinkedIn to look at your professional resume. When they want to know who you are as a person, they're going to go to your Instagram profile. And if your Instagram profile is filled with just stupid pictures of houses, just listed, just sold, it doesn't tell the picture, right? So, and a lot of times in working with clients, I'll go to these meetings, and even if people want to talk social strategy, I will never look at their social media before I meet them. Like, you know how normally people prep, they look at their social, they do a whole analysis. I actually do it backwards. You want to know why?
Yeah, why?
I need to know who you are, what your values are, how you work, what's your client experience. And I'm looking to identify that gap. Is the person I know, Aaron, the same Aaron that shows up online? And that's, I generally find there's a big disconnect. You have people that have like the most kumbaya, value driven brands that are all about service, incredible humans. And if you looked at their Instagram profile, you would think they're the epitome of death of a salesman. They only want to sell you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess it all does come down to authenticity, right?
No one wants to be sold, but everybody wants to buy.
100%. How do you suggest agents kind of balance their time with creating content and maybe more money making activities like prospecting?
Well, look, I think part of real estate is no one has any idea what agents actually do every day, right? So there's like a thoughtful way of sharing it. You know, I remember when Facebook Live came out, and I was teaching classes. I used to chair a young professionals network. I also was a vice president of a 30,000 person MLS for 2 years. I was a treasurer. So I have industry roots in my blood, right? And I also used to chair a young professionals network. And I used to teach these classes, and I would tell people, I'm like, whatever you do not say, hey guys, I'm in the kitchen. No kidding, you're in the kitchen. I see a fridge and a countertop. Like, I get where you are, right? So, I think agents can tell stories, share experiences, right? Like, if you're in a cool house, paint the picture of being in a backyard, having a barbecue, the indoor outdoor flow. Like, the thing I love about the West Coast is they have all those homes that have those huge walls that open up with the overhang that really creates that epic indoor outdoor living, right? Paint that story. Like, people want to see what that's like, and that will connect with the right people. And if not, it's just interesting, right? So that's one way. And then the other thing is, the second point is, I would batch it, right? I would sit down, and my goal would be to shoot 12 pieces of content. Like, if you don't have money to invest in yourself, go to a local college and find an intern. And what we find is a lot of the people that are just coming out of college or in college, they grew up on this. They're going to know how to shoot content better for mobile platforms than these overproduced production companies, right? So that's number two. And the third thing that I would say is, I think is the most important. Listen, your video is about somebody else. People know what you look like. They know what you sound like. I don't watch any of my own videos, right? Like, I like the cool videos that have all the cool B-roll. Like, I'll watch those because I'm like intrigued by them. But like the informational content style videos, I never watch them. Somebody else on my team could do it because it's about somebody else. I don't like how I sound. I don't like how I look on camera. And I do this every day. And for, I don't know, let's see, 15 plus years I've been doing video. I don't watch any of them. I hate it.
Yeah, no, those are all excellent pieces of advice. Actionable for sure. Would love to switch gears a little bit. Real estate has undergone significant changes over the past year, especially with the NAR settlement, changes to clear cooperation policies. How are you guiding your clients through these shifts right now?
Oh man, you're really going to open up Pandora's box now. Well, look, here's the thing. I don't agree with a lot of these changes in some aspects, right? So when the NAR settlement happened, from my perspective, the person representing the plaintiffs was Harvey Specter from Suits, and the person representing NAR was like an attorney that's still in law school. Right? If you've ever watched court TV, you don't have your main expert. Did they pay you for your testimony today? Yes, that's the end of it, right? So when I think of the NAR settlement, what a buyer's agent's compensation is, it's a sales incentive, right? So it's like Mercedes-Benz saying, we'll give you $2,000 if you buy this car, but then now the dealer says, oh, wait, we want to negotiate that. So I don't think it makes a lot of sense, right? So my clients tend to say that I'm too far ahead in trends. I've been reading these court transcripts and I was training agents on the NAR settlement for 18 months before it happened. Right. And so I always said that any kind of value goes on two concepts for people. It has to be CCQ. It has to be clear what you offer. It has to be concise and specific what they get, and it has to be quantifiable, right? And there's this world of what we call perceived value and actualized value. That gap is the words you use, your presentation materials. Perceived value is all the things that you feel that you offer somebody, you do is essentially your unique value proposition. Now, how you tailor that to the context of somebody's goals, expectations, unique situation is where they actualize value and they align the investment of what you do. Right? So that's my belief on that. So, one of the reasons, do you know why agents often either don't get chosen or their commissions get cut? Or they ask for a discount?
Please share with us.
All right. So here's how the human brain works, right? If I'm able to identify what you want in an agent. So if you were selling your house, what are 4 things you want from an agent? 3 to 5 things, 2 things, however many things.
I would want an agent who's obviously looking out for my best interest. I'd want an agent to market the property to, I guess, today's standards. I would want an agent to, bring the right buyers to the property. I don't want it to be marketed to the wrong audience.
All right, so ready, this is a good role play to dig into, right? Best interest. Is best interest clear, concise, and quantifiable? No. So I would need to dig into that, right? Then you said something about marketing, right? Like what does that really mean? The right buyers, who do you think are the right? So I'd want to isolate those 3 things, right? So based on Aaron, his decision-making matrix in choosing the right agent is those 3 things. The goal is to take your 3 things and take the value proposition I have and speak in the context of just those 3 things and create a perpendicular line. So here's what happens. Agents that don't know how to talk to people. So I define sales as having effective conversations, helping other people get what they want. So if an agent does not know how to do that, they generally just keep talking, right? So they think more is better. So now if you want 3 things and I offer 6 things, there's one of 2 things that happen. Number one, they think, okay, the way that Aaron works, he has all of this stuff. It's not like what I'm looking for. I don't think I'm the right fit because he does business a different way. Or naturally, well, Aaron wants 3 things, right? So Chirag offers 6 things. Well, I only need 3. Let me ask for a discount because I don't need all the stuff that he does. So the price should go down. And this is where agents get stuck so much. And it's literally the one thing in this industry from NAR all the way down that nobody talks about. Your license says real estate salesperson, right? Well, sales is essentially listening, meeting somebody where they are, and then having a conversation to help somebody reach their goals. And nobody teaches people this. And so it is just an ongoing gap that just seems to get worse and worse. And with the NAR settlement, I find that it's even more challenging, right? You're asking buyers to sign a compensation agreement with, for many markets, is tens of thousands of dollars. So you need to be able, the service has to fit the bill.
Yeah, absolutely. How should agents approach defining their value propositions and then demonstrating them to these clients?
Well, I don't think it's about demonstrating. I think it's one of the worst things that came out of the whole NAR settlement was how many people did you hear from the top of the industry down? Now is the time as agents, we need to show our value. How many times did we hear that, right? It's like during COVID. It's like during COVID when you just kept hearing people saying, yeah, during these really challenging times, like I never want to hear that phrase again, right? Like never in my life. And the other part is showing value is about you, right? And in many cases, agents, when they're showing value, they're projecting their own fears, doubts, uncertainty, and anxiety around clients hiring them into something that has nothing to do with them, right? Being of value is something that's a whole different mindset. So when you're talking about your value proposition, you need to literally just list out, here are all the things I do, right? This is your perceived value. Then how do you communicate that value into the benefit of something for your client? Those are the words and materials. So I would literally get like a big yellow post-it note, and I would say, like, I could talk about Compass Collections, right? Like, we have a proprietary search tool on our billion-dollar technology platform that allows us to collaborate your home search into one place, right? That's the feature, right? How do I communicate that is, hey, Aaron, we know that every person has an ideal lifestyle, both inside and outside of a home. Our goal is to understand what your experiences are like in a home, Monday through Friday, weekends, holidays, and what you want your lifestyle to be in the community. And that will create filters so we can collaborate on our proprietary technology, and every home will have comments in the context of what's important to you. Right? That's what they want, right? So if you think about it, it's like the feature is we have this great technology that allows us to collaborate in one place. Benefit, all the decision makers are in one place. It organizes it. It's visually appealing. It's easy to use. It's a way for us to just collaborate without getting on the phone. But you know what the destination is that they want, right? I call this my feature benefit destination. No one wants to get on the plane. They want to go to the destination. That's why people love helicopters so much. Well, the destination is they want an agent to pick out homes that fit their lifestyle goals in a home and in a community, right? And that's what people need to start speaking to. So you need to list out all of the things you offer, right? And then you need to understand how to communicate this both in visuals, technology, words, and then practice communicating that with the client. Because here's the thing, if you can't update your pitch in real time based on what somebody wants, you're just throwing stuff on the wall, hoping it sticks and thinking that more is better. That's why any well-trained salesperson can beat an agent out, I think, even that has the most market share. Market share is my next thing that I think will become obsolete, because if I can clearly, concisely, and quantifiably show you a better client experience process, a better leverage of technology, and ultimately like AI-driven marketing that tells stories and experiences for your home, how is it in somebody's mind subconsciously that you have 20 more houses in that neighborhood relate to the actual strategy I gave you? So things are shifting and people don't realize it. And I think they're going to be really big winners in this, and people, they're going to be really big losers.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Are there any other kind of surprising trends or tactics that agents aren't paying enough attention to right now that they really should be?
Do you want to open up the whole can of worms on CCP?
That's my job.
Look, here's the thing. I own a home, right? And home ownership is this incredible dream that people have. And I've been reading all of these LinkedIn posts, right? And when I see CCP, I own the home, I own the debt, it is my place, right? So the fact is, if I decide to hire you, that a trade organization or an MLS dictates how you, my agent, market the home after the agreement signed, to me sounds more like a dictatorship in Cuba than the democracy of the United States of America. Right? Like that's my clear point of view. There's so many different things that people don't think about, right? And part of home ownership is not creating centralized platforms that all buyers and agents can find properties. That's not part of home ownership, right? And then there's the other argument that I don't think makes sense is fair housing, right? Like America is filled with laws, right? Once you know the laws of the country, your job as a citizen is to follow the laws. As real estate agents, we know the fair housing laws. It's our job to follow them, right? So when people say these pocket listings, private exclusives, or things promote fair housing issues, you're just implying that people are already going to do the wrong thing, which looks bad for the industry. And it's like passing judgment on people, right? The next thing is, if you look at the best brands in the world, like you look at the way that Apple does product launches, you look at the way that Google does product launches, you look at the way that Tesla does product launches, right? They all have multi-tiered launches, right? They don't just show up one day and say, hey, here's the iPhone, right? Google just doesn't launch products without doing beta testing, right? Tesla doesn't launch products with exciting marketing to create a line of people. So why hasn't this gone into real estate? Doesn't make any sense, right? So you have this whole lopsided argument. And even if you look at the update from NAR, do you know what they just did? They passed the buck, right? They already got all of us sued once, because as far as I'm concerned, this thing is all their fault. They should have paid the lawsuit, not brokerages. And now they said, you know what? Like, hey, we're not going to restrict you from doing this. We're going to let the MLSs do it. right? So if I own a home, why should a local MLS organization dictate how my agent markets their home? To me, it doesn't make any sense.
So, how can agents leverage some of these changes with CCP?
Listen, I believe in the three-phase marketing approach, right? And the homeowners have the right to choice, right? So here's an interesting statistic from Compass that they pulled in 2024. 81% of the listings that sold as a coming soon, which is available to agents and the public before going on the MLS, sold at or above 81% of their asking price. There's so many benefits to a homeowner to doing this. And on the other side, there are also benefits to buyers that people don't talk about, right? There's so many people, and if you look at just market trends, most homes today in most markets as a result of COVID are worth more than people ever imagined. This idea of this one size fits all, let's go on all these different websites, mass marketing, it's always going to get you the best price. One, it doesn't always happen. Two, it's not what people always want, right? So as a buyer, I'll share a story with you. I had a good family friend, like somebody literally that my mom and his mom have been friends for 40 years, right? He texts me, he's with a Compass agent, and he could have bought this house as a private exclusive at 1.95, right? They tested it. They went on the market. They went around like 175. The thing got completely bid up past what the price was, right? And the homeowner did not want to put the home on the market. They're like, I don't want to deal with all this. I'm happy with 195. And they had to go through a lot more. He could have purchased the house and he missed out on it. His kids are friends with the neighbors. It was a perfect neighborhood. Not happening. Right. So the other part is some people want to go through different phases of marketing and then put their house in the MLS. The part that people don't think about on buyers is, look, you're making the largest financial investment of your entire life. Do you know how much it sucks, Aaron, to show up to a house and have to tell a buyer, okay, great, like this is the first house you saw. It's completely perfect. I need you to make an offer $250,000 above asking price, waive your inspection, waive your appraisal, waive your mortgage contingency, and I need you to sign a contract and go into escrow in the next 24 hours. You're going to miss the house. It'd be nice if buyers had like some time to prepare for it, right? It'd be nice if there was inventory available to those people that have 3-4% mortgages, right? They have a really cool loan product at Origin Point called Buy Before You Sell. And essentially, you can get pre-qualified with the debt omitted on your DTI from your actual house. You can go shopping for a new home, and after you find a new home, you can close it through traditional loan, and if you sell your house in 90 days. Now, this assumes that you either A, have like cash for a down payment, or B, you can always take a HELOC in advance. Now, people like that, you know how great it would be if they just had a buyer lined up because they could sell off market? Now, buyers typically now might do something like that, but they'll put their house on the MLS at an aspirational price. The part that is not included in this is putting your house on a private exclusive or off the market and testing the price is the equivalent of a company beta testing technology. They're beta testing what the results and what the market says and what some of the challenges are, whether it's should we make upgrades, what are the showings, is there functional obsolescence in the house, how does the market react to this, what changes should I make? But instead they go on the MLS and they start dropping their price, right? Once the price goes down, the days on market goes down, it's bad for the seller. Right. So that's why they say pricing your home right is correct. But not every agent is trained to have those conversations. And so many people, we call it buying the listing. They buy the listing, they list at any price that the seller wants, and then they drive them crazy to drop it. But the part that people don't understand is in a logical human's mind, why would any person spend time, money, and resources on something they feel the price will never sell because they're literally losing money and time and working for free? So there's so many different flawed things in this that literally don't make sense. And then the other part for me is privacy and security. I had a woman send me an email from a house I sold 12 or 14 years ago saying, can you please take your YouTube video of my house down? And I called her, right? I'm like, how long have you been trying to do this? She's like, I spent almost the last month trying to contact all these websites. I had to pay a company to find my house online. People don't realize how many websites this stuff goes out to. right? So when you talk about leverage, any person can do a multi-tiered launch. Like anybody can. Have a plan, have a strategy, have great marketing. When you use words like feedback, feedback for what? So if you're talking about feedback, you need three things aligned. You need to align with your client. What is the purpose of the feedback, right? Like we're looking to see if we should upgrade our kitchen, declutter, paint, stage, whatever it is. Here's the outcome out of the feedback. All right, after we get the feedback, here's the outcome we're looking for, and here's the next step. Because if you don't align with your clients on purpose, outcome, next step, it feels like you're attacking them, right? Because they're not on the same page. You made up this whole idea in your brain that I have all this feedback, we're going to use all this stuff, and this is what we should do next. But that's a one-way conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I could get you going on CCP all day. um, I really appreciate how you emphasize that success in real estate shouldn't really come at the cost of living a fulfilling life. I think that's a big part of your coaching. Would love to hear some of your advice to agents who may be struggling to find that balance between, building a thriving business and also maintaining a personal life.
This right here. I don't call this the cell phone. I call this the regret phone. So people that ask me, why don't you do more content? Like, look, I work with pro athlete organizations, NBA players, NFL athletes, ex-NFL athletes, mortgage finance places, amazing Compass agents. I travel to cool places. But the reality is I hate social media and I hate cell phones because one, I have my own issues just like anybody else. I'm not perfect. There's actually a technology I saw, Brick, where it literally locks all these apps and you have to physically go somewhere and put the thing and unlock it. I was like, I ordered one last night. But the reality is for most people, what they don't realize is Mel Robbins said this, and I don't know if this is true because I saw a different number, but I would imagine it is. She said people are consuming 7 hours a day of digital stuff on their cell phone, right? Like that's insane. That's like 49 hours a week. That's more than 2 days. But they say the average person on previous studies spends 2 hours a day on social media, right? So if you start thinking about this, when people want to look at fulfillment, you need to start somewhere like, what are we doing now, right? So I'm an Apple user, big believer in Apple because it's simple. Go to the screen time section of your phone, right? The screen time section of your phone is not your screen time. It's actually a time management system. So you could first start off by seeing how many hours am I spending, right? Then there's some interesting things. You can break down what you're spending hours on, right? Then there's a thing called notifications, right? Which I call distractions. Every time something notifies you, you're distracted. Studies show that if you're in deep focus work, if you stop what you're doing to do something else, it could take 15 to 75 minutes to get back in the same mindset. So now I can track where my distractions are, right? I run a business. I have a family, like set up private rings for the people that are most important to you, your partners, your wives, your spouses, your kids, schools, whatever it is. But I haven't had a notification on my text messages and emails since COVID. None, right? Because I want to live my life, not be a slave to the phone. So now you look at distractions. Then the next most important metric is first use. Now it's like, okay, here are my distractions and here's what I do. And here's the killer one, pickups. How many times did you pick your phone up and like unlock your screen? What we find with agents is anywhere from like the good ones are like 120 to 140 and the high ones are in 250 plus. So if you look at that times your waking hour, you're picking up your phone like once every 7 to 9 minutes. How the hell are you ever supposed to get anything done? Right? So the next strategy I would implore people to do is the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro method pretty much says that if you focus on one thing for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break, you're just going to be that much more productive. So there's a great free page, pomofocus.io. It's like a little red clock. Put your phone on do not disturb mode, minus like those important contacts. You're done, right? Spend 25 minutes. What I've learned in doing this is what I would block 2 hours in my calendar for, I could get done in less than 20 minutes because I'm focused. We're all so distracted by our phone and all these other things and having 100 tabs open that we don't realize how powerful we really are. And then there's another thing that happens when we start doing this. Everyone's competitive with themselves. So now I'm like going through like my calendar and I'm going through these tasks. I'm like, can I get this done in 15 minutes? Great. Now I got 10 extra minutes. What else can I do? And I'm competing with myself for productivity. So that's the first thing I would do. The next thing that I would tell people that are struggling with this is, look, If you're a listing agent, you need to have written communication plan with your clients, right? Like there's four things clients care about. It's they want to know how many showings, feedback from the showings, results of your marketing, and any market updates. And I call those the four main pillars or drivers to any financial decision you make. If you're giving your client one driver without all four, you're doing a disservice because they're going to make one major decision on one data point when they should have four, right? So creating structure, people are like, I can't do this. Clients love it, right? It's also the way that they're used to operating, right? Especially higher functioning, more successful people. They're used to scheduled appointments that are consistent. Like you have to learn how to run your business like a business, right? And things get better for you. The other thing is part of work-life balance comes when you don't have enough clients, you respond, react, and take on bad clients and don't do anything. I implore everyone to like do a math calculation of how many hours last year did they spend with clients that were never going to buy, never were going to sell, and completely unrealistic. You multiply that time out and you put half of it back into free time and half of it back into calling people you already know or doing open houses, you would have made 100 times more income.
Wow. Yeah. That's all phenomenal advice, man. I really appreciate it. If you could kind of wrap things up and give us one final piece of advice to an agent who just wants to build a successful, sustainable business in today's market, could you narrow it down to one thing?
Yeah, personal development. You have to keep growing as a human, right? So, if you think about an iPhone, you get an upgrade to your iOS system at least once a year, right? And my question to all people that are self-employed in business that are relying on themselves and the people around them are relying on them, how often do you upgrade your own iOS system? What are the investments you're making in time, right? And it's investments you're making in yourself, right? Is it health, great food, exercise, role playing, right? All of these things all don't cost money, right? But if you're not constantly upgrading your iOS, your growth is going to be the way that the market and the wind blows, right? So we see agents that don't do anything and don't make any investments in themselves in the core areas of their life and their business. Their income will fluctuate 10 to 20% depending on the market, right? COVID market, it goes up, tight market, it goes down, right? So it's kind of a business that's more of the same, but I believe upgrading our own personal iOS is the best investment that we can make, both on a personal and professional level, and it all connects together, right? So if you're not improving personally in your life and health and other areas, it's going to impact your business, right? If you're burning everything on your business and not working in your life, it's going to impact your business. They have a symbiotic relationship.
Love it. Chirag, you've been a phenomenal guest. We really, really appreciate your time. Where can people learn more about you?
At Chirag Shah Coaching, check me out on Instagram. I respond to all my own DMs, right? And look, for everyone out there, I just say that you need to all just believe in yourself a little bit more. Understand that if you're focused, you're capable of so much more than you could ever imagine. And the world is filled with opportunities for all of you. So just go all in on yourself. Keep caring about people, like listen before you speak, be an expert in what you do, and realize buying a home and selling a home is one of the most challenging experiences people go through because moving sucks. So just be of service, right? And try to make it just a little bit easier and more thoughtful.
Love it. Chirag, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. For those watching or listening from home, thank you as well for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Luxury Presence Podcast.